Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to episode number 8 of Bring the Heat. And this week we don't have any guests. I'm joined here once again by Reese and Tony. How are we doing on this Sunday, guys? You having a good day so far?
I just want to sleep more.
Yeah. I mean, that's the general feeling.
It's a lazy Sunday. It really is.
It is when you're not working, which we've established. That's why I'm here again. I just want to be on the couch. That's all I want to be. I just want to be on the couch.
No.
We have got some new merch though. Which I'm repping, which I'll give to Reese obviously when I go to see
One
him.
day.
Tony's got the Fury stuff on today as well. But yeah, so this stuff is what we're going to be wearing this season. I have a couple of spares if people want some, if you guys have any interest. But, you know, we're here again to discuss esports once again. And at least we did take a week off. I hope everyone enjoyed not listening to us talk shit for a week. So props to you guys. I think it was nice having a week break as well. It was a little bit quieter last week, so I think it's definitely a nice thing that we get to sit back and relax for once. But I guess other than that, we have got a couple of topics this week we will be discussing, which I think are personally pretty interesting. I think the first one we're going to be really touching on. Reese, if you want to, I guess, lead us into it, just because you guys probably have more logical thoughts on this than me, because I hate being the one to, you know, be the bother, but that's just how it is. If you would like to, I guess, kick us off with this one.
So Halo, there's been a petition from a lot of the fan base to introduce more feminine features on the character models. Now, which is like, you know, that's great and all. I'm great that they want this. There's a lot of things that do need to happen prior to that. I mean, it is also a brand new game. I mean, it's been, what, a few weeks since its release. It's still in beta. Yeah, but there's been a lot of hate thrown at the Halo and the developers that, oh, you know, why wasn't it done this? Why wasn't it, you know, why isn't this something that was already predetermined, blah, 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 blah. I mean, shit, man, like, you got to give them a break. They weren't even sure that the game was even going to fucking, you know, pop off as much as it has right now. Which is a bit wild.
Tony,
it is definitely.
Tony, what are you feeling? Because I don't know.
It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. Considering, I guess, lore-wise, you know, I don't know too much about the Halo lore, but I believe lore-wise it would make sense. Diversity-wise, I guess it kind of makes sense, but still, I don't know how to feel. Like, Halo's, you know, it's been around. It's, you know, one of the, like, the biggest franchises that's been around for ages. And I guess, like, just make, like, a really big change like this would be a little bit dumb, and, like, especially so early on into Infinite's life cycle at the moment, of course, only being out for a few weeks, and making drastic changes would be a little bit weird.
I think from a personal perspective as well, like, I think the big thing at the moment, it's, at least from seeing, I guess, what the perspective is, like, the suits themselves as well, like the inner portion of the suits underneath, like some are a little bit bulkier than others, some are a little bit slimmer, like it's very, very minuscule. But the suggestion they have is they want to have like a fully customizable like female counterpart, which I think is a great idea, but I don't think they should go about the way that they've at least
they want it as like tiny waist, big breast, big ass, kind of like they literally want that power figure.
I think the big thing for me as well, not more so like saying that's, you know, just like the generic, you know, women figure, of course. But the other thing you've got to really consider is how the hitboxes are going to work for that. Because if you really think about it, like everyone's just going to pick that figure if it means you have a smaller hitbox, right? Like it doesn't prevent 100%. Anybody from just doing the same thing. Which in that aspect I can understand, because I think I'll compare that to CS originally, how they have so many different character models now, when they had, I think, 10 back in the day that they originally had for the first, I think, 6 or 7 years of the game's life, where the hitboxes, like, they couldn't even figure out half the time where they would hit, because you'd have a bullet land on the side of someone's head and it would still count as a headshot, even though it wasn't on the head.
It was a bit cursed.
Yeah, I like the idea. Like, I don't mind the route that they're going through to try and, I guess, get themselves across the board. But, like, I think there's probably more important things right now, at least in the game's, like, starting point. Like, I don't mean to offend anybody, obviously, but, like, we're only 4 weeks into a game. I think they're definitely going to introduce something like that if enough people want it. But I think really, as it stands at the moment, I guess, because it is the competitive game, right? It's not like it's more so orientated to the casual player base as well. So I think they're trying to still, tweak those little competitive bits, because I think we'd all be in agreement. There are some things in this competitive game which, we would hope would be better. As an example, teammates with
the
mics.
lever system. Fix the lever system.
And a report system as well.
Yeah, so I think the top of their priority list is probably anti-cheat, the leaving system being better, and on top of that,
they want to polish their rank system before they really polish anything
exist.
cosmetical.
Heck, almost everyone is like top. Well, at least most people at this point. Again, Tony, no offense. I know you said it's okay.
Gold 2 now. I'm gold 2 now. Leave me alone.
But
Imagine
I think
being a
most
gold,
people,
though.
they need this is like how Valorant was at the start, alright? When they launched their game, where the ranking system was so stuffed.
It was top heavy.
Anyone could get top. Like, I was Immortal 3, like in the first act, and
No, you just cracked.
even now in Halo,
Where are you now, Joe?
Diamond 4 in Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
In Halo.
Where are you now in Valorant, though?
I think Gold 3, because I haven't played it in like 8 months.
Exactly.
But what I'll bring up, I'll show what the chowder head, Matt Felsenthal, if I mispronounced that, I'm so sorry. But he does go on about, I see Halo fans are trying to get only the point changes added to their game, such as, in quotations, women in power armor may not have tiny waist and big titty. Now, I'll also show the pictures that go with the tweet in a bit more close-up as well. You can see a massive difference between the two character models. Now, if you go back to like ODST, which I'm not 100% on this one, don't quote me on it, but it was one of the main ones where they actually had a female Spartan. And they were not of that character model. Like, they were still like, they were in the generic power armor that even, all the other male Spartans used. The only difference is the women just had a bigger breastplate, I think it was, and that's really it.
Because I'm just looking back, because I forgot which game it was, because I'm just having a look online at the moment. But there was like...
It was Halo 5.
Yeah, I think Halo 5, I think it was... I'll send this in our discussion chat. But this... I feel that model specifically would suit a little bit better, because it's not as... distinct in some regard, where you can visually, how people always complain about,
well, yeah,
visual
that's what
representation.
it is. It's the same power armor, except the difference is, well, the breastplate's bigger. That's really about
So
it.
the breastplate's bigger, the thighs are slightly bigger, and the calves are a little bit smaller, which, at least when you come to thinking about, I guess, how the game's going to play out, I think that would be a little bit more accurate from more of like a developer perspective with the hitboxes, because again, you got to be fair, because you can't just pick one model over the other.
Yeah, you have to have the same. You have to have the same hitboxes for both. You can't not do it. And that's where I think a lot of people they're trying to argue that no, it has to be of female nature and female features 100% through and through the armor. Well, why are you making curvature armor in the first place? It's power armor. It's not a dress you go out and on your Friday night and hang it up on vodka and Red Bull. It's power armor meant for wartime specific. So I think a lot of the community are really getting behind the wrong idea behind getting female features into the game. I think they're getting behind something that
I think the one that I've just sent, like, that would be great. I'd love to see that in, because I think that would suit. Like, even like the photo that I've just sent through as well, like that actually has features that are from Infinite as well, so it suits it well. In comparison to the one which, again, if you look at the one that was on that photo, right, I think it's like maybe a couple of probably maybe even a foot smaller. So it's like,
yeah, there's complete difference. Like there's no similarities between them besides the color.
Yeah, which, I mean, as the game goes on, right, like, again, we're in the first, like, I think it's like the first month, maybe, of the game being out. Like, they're going to introduce stuff like this in the future, but again, I still think, at least as it stands at the moment, for the future, great idea. Right now, as it stands, there's more important shit they have to deal with, which, again, is the hackers. It is the gameplay. They got to think about the competitive landscape for the next year, because they've already got that timeline out, so I think that's where their priorities lie at the moment.
Yeah, and as they should be. Your game can't revolve around esports when you're trying to cater to fucking small stuff like that.
Ban those fucking levers from my game, please.
They should just
or at
ban,
least fix it.
ban anybody who just
fix it.
dips in the first minute of a match because they can't.
Well,
play
that's what I'm
BTF.
starting to think. I'm starting to
It's
think
not
it's
exciting.
it's not people banning. I think it's more people are disconnecting.
Yeah, well, I was
mean,
gonna say there's
yeah,
still
as
that,
well.
that textures bug. There's still the HD textures.
Make
thing.
it more obvious that not every game is TDM, like Oddball and CTF. It's actually about capturing the
Yeah.
flag or holding the ball.
Have like a little banner up the top so I understand that I actually have to go get the ball, not actually go kill people. Thank you.
You know,
Thank
it's
you,
not
Halo.
it's not as if the announcer at the start of the game goes oddball or
But
capture
do you
the
think
flag.
do you think I'm tabbed in at the start of the game to hear the announcer go oddball or capture the
Imagine
flag?
not playing in
at the start of
windowed.
every game. Tony's got like 5 minutes of just him trying to set up his fan
Oh,
on the side, like he's just over there.
Like,
just
Dude,
trying
I'm
to-
just fucking. I'm mentally tabbed out of the game before it even starts.
You're mentally tabbed out 24/7, mate. Let's be honest.
Shit.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I think
for-
Halo's
for
direction
Halo-
is going very well. I think people need to stop hanging up themselves on the political nonsense, and start just focusing on what it truly is. It's just a game for people to have fun.
Again, we shouldn't even have this game right now, right? Like they launched it early, and I've really enjoyed this game. Like I've hated comp games recently, but like Halo's, it's been a good change.
Just heavy on the Halo grind right
It's
now.
been good. Like I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like even when I'm playing with mates, right? Like we actually work together, which is good because I think this might be the
Split
first game.
stack.
This is the first game where we're not yelling at each other, telling each other we're
Well,
shit.
hang on.
Well,
hang
Unless
on,
it's
hang on.
Tony in the lobby.
Yeah. All right, just because he killed me on
Tony,
the flag,
just
and
go
then he
positive.
What
Just
are
go
you doing?
positive. That's it.
What are you
just
doing?
because he's killed me, yoinked the flag, and then successfully run it to the base. It's not my fault, all right.
You're just sitting there in a corner, just it's like, why did he do that? It's like, how
It's
can he
one of
do
those.
me so?
Tony got a
But yeah, they've done well in the competitive landscape. But I guess more to the point with this, they're gonna do it, just not now. You know, it's not a priority. right now.
At least give it 3 months for them to develop some shit. Like, come on, guys. We're making a petition for literally no reason.
It's not like in a 24-hour window, they're gonna be able to just like slap like oh guys, here's a character model. Like it took CS 7 years to do it. Like, come on.
Dude, it took them 7 years to also update the doors in Dust too.
It's still been 13, and they still haven't got 128 tick servers. But that's beside the point,
Love
Tony. Yeah, I
Thank you,
think
Volvo.
more so on the Halo side of things. I think we've had a good chat. You know, for the most part, the competitive landscape is thriving. The casual player landscape is thriving. I think offhand is the campaign isn't out just yet. Comes out next
Not yet.
week, I think.
Something like that, next 2 weeks or something, yeah.
I'm personally going to
Yeah.
grind that because I really love the Halo campaign. But anyway, we do go onwards. Now, this next topic, we're going to be talking PGC. Has been 2 weeks since we did touch on it, and since that point, the main event has started. There has been some pretty good results. There's been some pretty odd results. There's been some questionable results, and for the most professional PUBG event on the planet, we've seen some absolute whacked shit from the players, and I'm talking like people carrying each other and smacking each other with vehicles and.
Oh,
Just
let's
like
not also forget the ultimate light post play as well, which is an absolute doozy. We'll get into that, and we'll probably
we'll
show
discuss
later
it
as
because
well.
that's probably play of the event so far, like hands down. That was awesome.
It was a great one.
Yeah,
It was,
that was
definitely
awesome.
a great one.
But I guess if we all have the links up, Tony, I guess from your perspective, you know, you've tuned into, I guess, a couple of the games. Now,
Just a few.
I'd like to personally start with you on Game Home, right? Because you're a hard dong supporter. We know you love the dong.
Up the dong.
Now,
All
these
those
boys
guys.
have actually come into the event originally, right, with a filler because one of their players couldn't get their visa, and they also had their coach playing as well. Now, as of this point in time, now they haven't really had the greatest event, which again they're not expected to, because this is the team that got replaced. So the Unicorn Phoenix guys didn't go, so Game Home had to sub in, and they couldn't field 4 players of their own, so they're already in the shit, as you could tell.
Yeah.
Bit rough.
I guess from your perspective, from some of the games you have watched so far, like through, I guess, the ranked decision matches and, the weekly survival and such, I guess, is there any teams that you've thoroughly enjoyed, I guess, watching yourself from, I guess, more of a casual, PUBG enthusiast, not more so of a religious one like Ozzy and myself, but I guess more as a casual viewer?
Yeah, I've actually casually enjoyed heroics sometimes. VP hot dropping. It's been very very interesting to watch that unfold. As you said, Game Home, doing bits. Sonic's really shitting the bed. BBL not doing too bad. AAP, just a few names to bring up. Gen G as well. I was actually very much surprised with Gen G, because I don't religiously follow them, but Gen G they've got a pretty good team behind them.
Yeah, up until last week where they came last. Yeah. But we're not going to touch on that. They had a horrible week, just like most of the teams you would expect to qualify, such as us and Liquid. Liquid actually made it in. There was FaZe and, Gen G and
everyone
KPI. Literally everyone else. But yeah, I think the big thing for me, Latin America only has one team at the event, which is KPI. They won the first week with 30 grand in their pockets, saying qualified for the grand final. So, Latin America, they're there. They're not there to fuck around, which is great. I think also for KPI, who is a new org into PUBG, signed these guys before the event. I think it's really awesome to see how they perform so far for themselves. But I guess the big thing, like Virtus Pro did have, when it came to weekly survival, right, they've been having some rough games with MCG and Dynawire as well, hot dropping constantly, but at least VV have qualified for both weeks, right? Because that's the big thing. Because you win one game, you qualify.
Only just though.
Yeah, but it's still it's
a win. Wild, right? That they're able to qualify with the playstyle that they've been playing.
Yeah, I think you can see the flip of that with Sonics, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to touch on them for a little. Like, I don't mean to bash the Sonics boys. Like, I do love them, and I know our guys love them as well. But realistically, like, in the first week of the event, as well as VP, like, I was looking at VP's placements over the first week. They didn't get above 12th. Literally, in the like, in most of these games they were playing, they literally could not scrape anything.
Probably from all that hot dropping, Joe.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is... You can't just keep hot dropping. That's the problem. Like I think they've figured it out now. Like it took them 16 games to finally go, oh shit, we shouldn't be hot dropping this. And it's like, oh, who would have thought?
Yeah. So, like going from like the ranking decisions, like obviously the top the top 8. I think they did deserve to be there. They played really well, which were like Ents, Genji, New Happy, VP. VP. Yes and no. I mean, they only got by just from kills alone, in my opinion. They are a kill-strong team, but they got hot dropped. I mean, how many times is it? I can't even... I've lost count of how many times they've hot dropped.
There was basically a counter. So if we're going off... I guess if we want to talk weekly survival, because that's, the important thing right now.
Yeah.
They had basically their placements, if I was to go through and just view these real quick. For week 1 for VP, they basically got a 12th, a 2nd, a 14th, a 14th, a 16th, and a 1st. Now, that first, in the first week, that actually came off them doing an alt drop and not going to their main spot.
Yeah.
So, don't hot drop, you win games, you qualify for the final on the weekend, which is the whole point in the week. I think something's happening there, maybe. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what they're trying to think or what they're trying to do. I think they're just trying to play their game as much as possible just to get in, but not giving away too much of their strats, and that's maybe why they've been constantly hot dropping. That's the only reason I can think why they're doing it, is they don't want to give away what their actual primary is going to be, but then they'll play a couple of games just to stay in it. They want to win it. They don't want to they don't want to fucking just be knocked out early or win the 30 grand. And then get nothing. They want to win the whole event. So I think that's why they're just trying to stay in it while not giving away too much of their information or too much of their strats and whatnot. But in saying that, they're throwing away a lot. Like, I mean, even if they won, if they won one of the weeks and got the 30 grand, that's still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, and then you can still go on and win it. And that's where I don't understand their play style, what they're thinking. I mean, they've been wiped, I think it was 12 times or 13, I don't know, it was too many times they've been wiped on the hot drops. And, oh yeah, not in that, like, they're leaving their where they drop 15 minutes later. Most of the time they're in the blue. They're fighting in the blue.
Because the one thing I want to mention as well, I guess, for Tony to chip in as well here, like if you're looking at VP and Sonics, like I'm looking at their ranked decision games originally, because this is where it all started from, right?
Yeah.
VP basically on the first day, because they were in our group, 15th, 16th, 15th, 14th. Those are all against Danawa, because that's where they got clapped by them every single time.
Yeah.
Second and then third. You look at Sonics, who played the same day, 16, 14, 16, 16, 9, and 15. So straight off the bat, you look at those results and you're thinking, what the fuck is happening? Then you go to the next day, Sonics wins the first game of the day, then 8th, 13th, 14th, 12th, and 8th. On the other side for VP, again, they had an okay day, like they had a 14th, and that was the lowest they went. Everything else was in the top 8. And then when it came to, you know, VP and Sonics being in the same lobby, right? Like VP, they basically got 53 points when it was A versus D, where they had a 15th and a 14th in there, and then 3 top 3 finishes and a 6th in there as well. Sonics respectively 16th, 15th, 13th, 15th, 10th, and 14th. Like, and Sonics was in a lobby with, so VP was in that lobby with MCG, who likes to drop Power Grid with them. You have Sonics, who was in there, who basically had to contest up against, who was it? It was 17 that kept dicking them every time.
Yeah.
And then when 17 wasn't there, it was AAA that was there to clap them as well. So it was just an absolute mess.
So I think the only reason why there's that big disparity between VP and Sonics is that VP are actually getting kills. That is the big difference. As soon as Sonics lose maybe 1 or 2, they're in the bin. While with VP, I mean, we've seen it time and time again, where one man has quite literally been carrying them quite hard.
Perfect. Just perfect.
Perfect is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. He has been absolutely slaying this. And the only reason why VP are maintaining their spots is because of that man. He has been absolutely destroying everyone else. Like, he is happily able to 1v4. And that is wild. And that's the only reason why VP are in the spot that they are. I reckon if Perfect has not played the way he has this entire event, they would be at the bottom. They would be where Sonics are, because that's what's happening with Sonics. They are not fragging as a whole. As a whole team, they are not really playing as effective as they should be. They're playing some really dumb fights. They're doing some really dumb slow rotates. And it's just not working out for them at all.
The thing is as well, right? The way this format works, you have to get points over that period as well through the 3 weeks. Now, Sonics missed out on 2 weeks of points. So they've got week 3 to basically get a win and then try to get as many points as they can, which physically the highest amount of points we've seen in 1 week has been KPI so far, which had 108. And at least so far, no team's going to get anywhere near that.
No,
because
no way.
GEX is on top right now with 49, so I don't think it's physically possible in 5 games for them to get to 100. But if we're looking at the point system, if they don't get in, then basically the bottom 16 play off I think it's 4 slots in the final come last chance. So
yeah,
for teams, you know, like Sonics, Unique, FaZe hasn't even qualified yet. So
no, FaZe straight out won't.
Yeah, I think, like, if you're throwing Sonics in there, right, you got to throw FaZe in the same boat, because they're literally in the same position. Like, for teams like, you know, if we're looking at the teams who didn't qualify this week, I think Ghibli should be fine.
Let's not forget, people have also expected FaZe to not play as good, which they haven't been. They have not been playing as they used to. But like back, you know, two years ago, where you had the God Uber and whatnot like that, slaying the shit out of lobbies. They're not competing at that same level anymore. And that's, you know, I think that's where people are going, yeah, look, you know, FaZe, you guys are still really good players. Like, don't get me wrong, they deserve to be where they are in Korea. But compared to everyone else, compared to the rest of the teams, I mean, yeah, I think where they are is realistic to how they've been playing in this past year.
Yeah, and I think the big thing as well, like if we're putting FaZe in that discussion for underperforming like massively, right? We can easily throw Unique in there. I think they definitely should have been a team that could have stepped up a little bit further. Obviously, they're not like
no, I don't think Unique would do any better than
head. I don't think they're the head honcho, right? But I still think they've been playing okay. Like they haven't been absolute crap.
Yeah.
Like
I think they've played as good as they can. Like they probably for this event. Like you got to remember, they're not overly used to these kind of events. Let's not forget.
That's the other thing. Because the big things are right. Sonic's FaZe. I'm going to throw Petrichor Road in there because they've gone in this week, right? But they're only got 7 points after one night.
I'm really surprised about. I thought that.
So Tony, for context, Pero was basically the 3-time champs for China this year.
They should be winning. Honestly,
they should be. They are basically predicted to win the event, and they had a atrocious first week. They're currently in the finals for this week, and they have 7 points. So I think really FaZe, Sonics, Petrichor. Even Dignitas botted out the first week, and the teams that
I thought that would or could win it were Genji, Mu Happy, Ents, and Petrichor. Like they're the ones I thought, they're actually going to win the entire event. And I was going to say like they'll do good through the entire event, but they're one of the teams I thought were going to outright win it. Now Petrichor have shat it hard, and I don't know what's going on there at all. It shouldn't be nerves because they played at plenty of majors before. They're all used to the stage. They're all used to traveling.
New Happy's in the same boat though.
New Happy, I'm quite surprised what's been happening. Like they slayed out the first couple of weeks, and now they're kind of I don't know what's going. Like maybe people have read into their strats and they've been very open. Which I mean the strats are quite an open book play. It's push hard, rotate into key areas. And everyone knows those key areas. As soon as the circle pops, people know where to rotate to. And I think they picked up on where and how New Happy play, and that's why they've been suffering a lot more lately. Which happens in these events. People do, it's part of captain's job to analyze and to plan out those events. Hey guys, we need to rotate 10 seconds faster, purely because this team comes in that time. That's it. And that those small windows can mean a wipe or not.
Yeah, because that's the tricky thing about this format as well, right? Because I think, if I'm looking down the bottom, if I'm looking at Petrichor, Sonics, Game Home, Unique, AAA, Kaishin, AAP, Enterforce FaZe, BN as well. Like, what the fuck has happened there? Like, they were literally one of the best teams in regards to this format as well in APAC.
APAC, but they're not consistent. That's the thing.
It's their first international event. I'll give them a break.
Yeah. But you also got to remember, they are more a winner chicken dinner format team. They play for placement, but where everything's been changed a little bit and kills actually do really matter, people are hunting. People are actively trying to take and crush into other teams to get kills. And that's where BNU really, we've seen it time and time again where they have been crashed and they've been wiped outright because they're not used to being under extreme hot pressure so quickly. They're more better at gradual pressure where they know a team is at a certain place and they're gradually being rotated onto or gradually being pushed. They're used to that. That's where they can use their utility and they can actually, do what they need to do. But if they get instantly crashed, I don't know what happens. I don't know what the calls are, but they don't play well after that at all.
And I think just to finish off, I guess this topic before we do go into the next one, I want to hear from you guys. If you had to pick a team who's going to win after tonight, so the team that will get 30k and qual to the finals out of the the top 16 who qual this week, and if you had to pick the team who is going to be in the lower 16 competing, who's going to actually miss out on playing the next week's games, if you had to pick one for each, who do you guys think? I'll start with you, Tony. If you're just looking at, I guess, the points that have been gained so far over the last...
So overall standings, I'm assuming?
So if you go through to weekly finals...
Yep, overall standings.
And then down the bottom to where week 2 is, because that's what's being played right now.
Yep.
So Gex is on top. Out of those 16 teams, who do you think is going to get 30k and an inject into the grands if you're just looking at those teams who have been performing?
I think... I I'd have to say Liquid or Ents, and possibly BBL. I'd put my money on Ents and Liquid there because I've definitely seen them really play solidly the past week.
I can respect that. I mean, Ents has looked pretty good across the board.
Yeah.
Ents so nice and consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think GX are gonna give up that spot. I think they're going to maintain that.
I think they've done well. Honestly, it's the best they've played ever.
Yeah.
I think it's either going to be it's got to be Team Liquid, Ents, or even Gex. Honestly, I think the top 5's actually really close together. I think if Ents and Liquid have a pop-off game, which they probably will, I think it's doable. And then if I look at the bottom out of all those teams, I'm going to put Kaishin in 16th. They've looked absolute trash. Honestly, I hate to BM teams, but Jesus Christ, they have not looked very good at all.
Yeah, I don't know who would be going down.
Considering BNU didn't do well, this is BNU's time to get off the bottom. Honestly, I think Kaishin or AAP's look absolutely atrocious as well. To be honest with you, I think Calb's coming in as a sub hasn't really, assisted them much at all.
Again, Calb's ain't a fragger.
Poor dude. We love him, but God.
Yeah, he amazing support. The guy knows how to really he knows how to do his job as a support. But when it comes to frontlining, he ain't there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of umming and ahhing about quite a lot of them, but I think Brew just won't have it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to maintain. I think Dignitas and Pero are going to overtake. I think Pero just had some very bad rotates.
Sorry, Huzzy, we're talking bottom 16 here for week 2.
I'm looking at the right one. Bottom 16. Where the fuck is it?
Bottom 16, week 2. Tony, what are you feeling?
Wait. Bottom 16.
Sorry, I didn't.
I'm on the wrong thing too. I'm on the wrong one too. Who do I think?
That is a stacked lobby. If you look at those.
Teams. That's insane. I think. Wait, so we're saying who's gonna bot out?
So who do you think's coming 16th in that lobby?
Eagles. E36. Ender Force.
Okay, so Tony hates the Japanese.
Okay, all right. What the fuck? I just haven't seen them play well. All right, leave me alone. They probably haven't been playing too bad, but the games I've watched, they haven't done the greatest.
No, they haven't been playing well. They've had some moments.
Yeah. I'm not completely discrediting them, but
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of leaning on TSM.
Really?
TSM? Shit.
I think they're gonna get slapped. There's 2 teams there that drop at their spots.
Oh, that's
realistically for us. I think we've got Pero on Millie, and that's it.
Yeah, but Pero got a Nova. That's fine. That's easily cannibal with rotates.
That's Pero and Oath actually together. Yeah, okay.
Oath won't. Yeah, with Fury and Pero there, Oath will not drop at Millie because Millie isn't their number 1. It's like their number 3 spot. They won't drop there.
So we've all got different opinions. So Tony thinks E36 are going. You think TSM.
Yep. I actually think TSM. Yeah. I
think Kaishin. They have looked absolutely atrocious. I thought Cobra would actually be pretty good at this event. He's been okay, but Jesus.
Kaishin and they're crap. They're a crap team out of all that are there. They are one of the worst. But I honestly think TSM are going to have a hard week. They're a very hard week. I think
easy.
They're going to play very well.
Done and dusted. And again, if you guys think our opinion is wrong, go fuck yourself. But anyway.
Sugma.
Anyway, we have got our next topic, gents. We're back with some positivity this week. We had to bring it up because CJ is just giving off crackhead energy on the timeline. So we thought
we do love some crackhead energy. We really do.
Yeah. So burning bright, boys. Once again, this is where we shine a little bit of light on some positivity in the scene. And with RLCS in Sweden, this event, we wanted to give a little mention to CJ, who has been making me absolutely wheeze with laughter with his clips.
He's great.
It's been brilliant. Honestly, the two of my favorites was him insulting someone's strat book and also the mini fridge being taken away from the hotel room. So he had to
now
put a
what
bucket
we'll do
of ice
is
in his sink. He had to put a bucket of ice
We'll show the clip. Actually, which one do you want to show, Garo? Which one do you think was the best?
The bucket of ice one.
I think
the
the bucket of ice one.
Okay, we'll show the bucket of ice one right now, so you guys can have a bit of a concept as to what we're talking about. Have a look.
High racks for pants. Oh, that makes sense. Anyway, I'm someone who prefers my drinks cold for the most part, apart from maybe coffee. Actually, I do like iced coffee. So what they've gone and done here in the ESL RLCS hotel here in quarantine is they've provided us with nothing. They've taken the fucking fridge out, ladies and gents. We've got no way to cool down any drinks at all, ladies and gents. There is just nothing here. They've gone, you know what? The fridge can go and get stuffed. You can have a look at the pipes, and we're going to give you a safe and no fridge. So I'm going to be having a warm bloody Coke. I'm going to be having warm Coke for the next few days because we've got no fridge in any room. No fridge at all. So, yeah, look. Well, ladies and gents, if it isn't the best day of my life, they always say good things happen to good people, and look what we've just been delivered with. Thanks to ESL, they've hooked us up with a bucket of ice. How good is that? We finally got something to cool the drinks down. I mean, this bad boy can just go straight in there. There we go. So, we're ready to go. Thank you so much, ESL. I'm all set. Unbelievable.
So just for context on it, essentially they took away the mini fridges in all the hotel rooms. So basically they gave them a bucket of ice to then try and put their stuff into it, but he tried putting his orange juice in and it wouldn't sink into the bucket. Then basically there was a response to that video which he posted where he had both of their basins in their room filled up with the ice and then all the drinks sitting in the ice in the basins of the bathroom.
He's great. He's actually brilliant. And Renegades are really capitalizing as well on all this content. CJ is one of the best Rocket League content creators. Well, let's be honest.
He's been carrying content in RL for fucking ages. Him and Rizzo in NA, I reckon.
Yeah.
But I think the other funny one, especially with Johnny Boy's clip, where he's just like, oh yeah, if we're gonna have to guess who's gonna win the event off strats alone, I'm going to say G2 because they've got 6 scrims a day lined up, and as soon as I opened their strat book, my computer crashed. I'm like, oh god.
Would it say you need a 3090 to open up the thing?
Yes.
But CJ, guys, check him out on Twitter as well. He's great. CJ_RL Rocket League.
He's real as well because he's verified. Imagine.
Sorry, what's it like being verified?
I don't know. We don't exist, apparently.
He makes some absolute banger content, and they are doing some absolute great work over there right now in the land of Sweden.
Sweden?
The
home
Sweden.
Right now.
I believe GZ as well landed. Aussie has just touched down. I believe I saw his tweet just a few minutes ago. So
yeah, but they don't do any content. I haven't seen a single. I've seen Amphis talking crap, but I haven't seen anything else.
Can we get some content from GZ, please?
I'd pay just to see Amphis.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
put that man in a vlog and just
I don't want to be that guy, but imagine paying all that money and not making any content on the team over a major.
Psyonix is covering it. Yeah, honestly, even for GZ, they're actually doing their boot camp at the NIP HQ, so that's actually rather interesting.
That's actually really cool. That's actually really cool that they've lined that one up.
They got some of those links, so that's kind of cool. But, there are some positives. Rocket League is developing. The content's good. I want to see more players get around it because CJ really is carrying this event so far on his shoulders. I'm not even going to lie. I haven't seen much more than just CJ. He even posted a photo of him with their miniature TV, calling him a 65,000 inch screen, but he's sitting in bed and he can barely see anything. And he got responses from everyone posing with TVs on their timeline, which I think is brilliant. It's good stuff.
He's doing some great work. Love the guy.
He's doing good stuff. But Tony.
Yes, that's me.
You like TOs, don't you?
It's absolutely love them. My job wouldn't be possible without them. So,
are you sure you don't like them? Are you sure? Have you got any criticism for some? I'm hinting to something here, guys. I think this is the next topic. I could be wrong.
I think Tony wants his job.
Yeah, I really like my job at the moment, Joe. You're putting it in jeopardy at the moment. But
Tony,
of course,
no one watches this podcast
how
anyway.
fucking hard is it to put a proper format together that everybody in the tournament understands? You don't have people asking week after week, "Oh yeah, when is our game being played?" Or "Is our game being streamed?" Or "Is there a best of 5 being covered by 2 separate roles of casters?" Which is a odd thing to go for. Not mentioning any names, but
anyway, guys,
yeah,
we're kind of mentioning the third topic here, if you couldn't tell. Basically, we're going to be touching on the local league, more not really the update, more of like a discussion surrounding it, because we've just had AEN wrap up for Valorant, and we've also got Shock Esports, which is a completely different thing I want to discuss because that is a absolute clusterfuck in itself. So, Tony,
it's happening next week.
Let's
I'll
talk
take you through AEN.
Give us a rundown, because Huzzy's here as a viewer. Like, he's a first time viewer for this.
I don't know anything about this Shock Esports or whatever.
Look, I don't blame you. I mean, like they look like they've come out of nowhere. It's a very odd thing. Big money, big prize pool, but will that money come through is the question. And of course, I believe it's $6,000 overall in the prize pool for Shock, $3,000 overall for AEN Spring Series, which of course we alluded to wrapped up as of a few days ago, or Friday. And of course, who better to take it home than the ex-Trident roster, Krimmer's Disciples? It looked very, very rough. I'm not gonna lie. As someone who casted the first map, I saw Bind go quadruple overtime, 17-15. Bind, obviously, and I sing my praises about Krimmer's Disciples. Their bind is fucking insane. And to have them go 17-15 against a mixed roster of your Fang, Minimize, Squeaks, Tax, and sorry, I've already forgotten the final player. It's absolutely fucking absurd. And then
we got them the reject squad, brother. Like,
yeah.
up.
Look, no, I give props to Nerdnex. They don't look too bad overall, but like obviously there's a distinct difference between Krimmer's Disciples or ex-Trident that have been together for ages. They've been under a whole bunch of different orgs as a core of 4, core of 5 at this stage.
Yeah, but we call that a red flag, Tony, in the esports world when they've been many awards. We call it a red flag.
I'm saying they've looked solid despite all the banners
they've got inconsistency both in game and with orgs. All right, I see.
Okay, all right. But yeah. let me continue here with the grand final, because it was a very odd one, because you had Krimmer's Disciples go very close first map, and then you and of course they got to start with a 1-0 map advantage coming from that upper bracket. They absolutely trounced the teams in the upper bracket. I believe that was, of course, the likes of Samfam Fan Club and actually Nerdnex, believe it or not. They trounced them 2-0 in that upper bracket final to, of course, get that 1-0 advantage. And then they absolutely shit the bed. Second and third map were absolutely atrocious from them. Krimmer's Disciple, it was 13-2 on Icebox, and that'd be 13-6 on the map afterwards. And, well, Krimmer's Disciples, they were somehow able to come out with the 3-2 victory with a 1-0 advantage. Me looking at that series, I heavily pegged the Krimmer's Disciples to win that. Like, I didn't think there was going to be... I imagine one map contention from Nerdnex, but I didn't think it'd go all 5. I didn't think... or all 4, sorry, because of course the 1-0 advantage. But yeah, it apparently would seem that Krimmer's Disciples just really aren't fucking good at Icebox. Joe's just like, wow, alright.
How can you not be good at an easy map, Tony? Please.
And it confused me, because Krimmer's Disciples were one of those rosters, of course, I'm speaking when they were, Villains, Tyrant before that.
It's like,
Icebox was a good map for them.
It's like you're looking at
so, like, what happened?
Like, wait, there's some Nebula, Mind Freak, Fury, fucking...
Yeah,
morphing,
it was some fucking, like, fusion half from, like, Goku, fucking Dragon Ball Z going on there. I was so confused to, who to bring up from which roster, because, of course, Nerdnex, they've been on so many different rosters, individuals. But yeah, overall, I think it ran adequately, of course, considering, it's AEN's first Valorant event. A few, as JD, you said, that, he's a little bit inexperienced when it comes to running Valorant events, but it's cool to see that he's looking to run more. Hopefully, he takes some feedback on board. I believe we haven't had a chance to sit down, but of course, I will be letting him know that you shouldn't be getting 2 caster duos for a best of 5.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about advice that you're going to give him before you actually talk to him, Tony, say it on the podcast because we need to. I'm not asking you to talk shit about Jamie because I know I know Jamie takes all feedback in the correct manner, and he knows I do this regularly, so he's fine with it. I've already fucking checked with him. We're all good.
Yeah,
destroy him.
I love JDU too. I've said a few very out of bounds things in DMs to a few people, but of course I love JDU. I love what he's doing. This spring series, of course, is great for a scene that is currently just looking for the next big thing.
Dead.
Yeah, it's dead at the moment. Halo's yoinked Rice. They've yoinked everybody else too. Oh, mind you, it wasn't a big loss. Sorry, Rice.
What? No, it's to casters. It's Reese. Don't forget.
Reese. Yeah, yeah, Reese. No, I think overall you need to, I guess, first of all, get people understanding of how the event's being run, because there are so many, even during group play, we were getting asked, even some of us casters, we got the admin role in the Discord for some reason. I don't think that was I think you need to get more admins on board. There's people that would have loved to do it. Wanda, Tham, Rosa, of course. Rosa's, I've been talking to Rosa week after week. I was like, Rosa, please just, JDU needs some help, man. It's hard to run it as one person, and casters, we don't have experience being an admin of, we just cast the game. We make the players look pretty, and sometimes ourselves, but of course, I can't speak for myself included. But yeah, I think more admin, talk to more admins. I guess make people aware of the format. For the players, I think be open to do more content. I think JDU was trying to get interviews and stuff lined up, but nobody wanted to do them, and that's disappointing. As someone who was kind of keen for this event, and it could be something more. It could be a really good off-season thing to show that OS is currently not dead in Valorant, but after what has happened and what has transpired throughout the entire event, I think OS is still dead, and I think it might be more dead after this event.
Yes, let's not do interviews under our orgs because orgs want to pay us for not doing content. Standards.
We love that.
But yeah, again, for any players, do the content, do the interviews.
Please.
If you have a jersey and you're in an org, do an interview with the jersey on. Plug the sponsors, plug your stuff, plug anything. Heck, I'd do it. Get me to do it. I'll plug myself.
I'm terrible at conducting interviews.
Oh. Get me in the coach's box and I'll fucking do it. All right. If they're not gonna do it, I'll do it.
I'm terrible at conducting interviews, but I think just get on the mic with me for at least 5 minutes and just take the piss.
It doesn't even need to be a good interview. No offense, Tony, but you're not really the best person when it comes to interviews. I've seen you just get ripped up mid-sentence. You just fucking you struggle sometimes.
That's why I write down my questions now.
And don't forget the hand movement. Need lots of hand movement.
I love the hand movement. The hand movement's great.
Oh yeah.
Do I actually got flamed the other week for that? I was like, what the hell?
I'm just moving. We'll move on to I just want to talk about Snowball, or was it Shock Esports? What it is?
Yeah. Shock, not Snowball.
Okay. I'm just looking at
Snowball ran tournaments.
I don't really know. I don't really care. They said they're leading in innovation and development for esports in Oceania on their Twitter page. I got no
bold claim to make.
Who the fuck are you?
They've got a warm up server, and they've got a face at League.
That's it. So
they
just
use graphics that literally look like they've been stripped out of 1940.
I'm looking at it, and all I see is giveaways for CS:GO.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's primarily CS:GO, but yeah, they're claiming to be a lot bigger than CS:GO.
They're literally just the exact copy of what Conky's been doing, because they've got an open league and a pro league and everything. It looks
I think it's all right. The graphics are terrible, and I don't know what they're going for here, but I think overall they've got the right idea. I think it's just the wrong execution at the moment.
Now I'm gonna call them out right now because I think I've seen some of the worst announcement work ever from a TO.
Yeah.
Because the original announcement they had for this was basically oh yeah, this is this event. It's going to be 5K as the prize pool. Awesome. Didn't give any sign-up details or details on the date.
Dates, yeah. No.
And then as soon as that happens, then they post the casters, and then on the casting post,
yeah, to mute it. I was like, I don't want to deal with this, dude.
We basically on the casting post where they announced the talent for it, which is basically like, oh yeah, they posted a twit longer because they're like, oh, here's the tournament dates, and then they had the dates, which is the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th of December. And everyone was commenting on it, going, oh yeah, here's this. Oh, what's this about? And when you're putting up tournament dates and everything in a twit longer.
No, I wouldn't even click on the twit longer. That's the thing.
Like,
how hard? Like, I'm just looking at. They've got all this. Like, they've got all these different graphics and VFX and whatnot. Do a graphic for your fucking announcement for your league.
No one clicked on that tweet longer, and then everyone replied to another tweet saying, "Hey, when's the tournament?"
I'm just looking at it like
it's a really good tweet thread when our Lord and Savior Fiend comments on it. It's always going to be a blessing when he comments on there. And then the shot Fiend guys kept responding with like some absolute whack shit. I don't know what they were on, but they were like, there was some weird responses where it was basically, are there any fees that players have to pay? Because they didn't mention it. And then they said, we'll take your money, but you might want to tell us when the tournament is actually being played. And then Shock basically responds saying, the individuals that are paid to cast the best of threes have been given the scheduling through our casters, which had nothing to do with the original question.
Yeah.
Sorry, this sounds very familiar with a certain PUBG org.
Yeah. Then basically they followed things up saying, when is the tournament being played so teams know if they can play or not? This is crucial. Well, no shit, Fiend. I understand what you're getting at, but they didn't post it, so props to him. Then he said, updates regarding the event will be posted coming closer to the best of one. You're taking registrations when you haven't even finished planning the competition. We appreciate your concern, is what the main organizers said to him. Yep. And then he said, just try to figure out if my team can play in your competition or not, but you're making it difficult. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but Shock Esports, please actually announce proper dates in your first tweet with the prize pool and registration.
I have an actual system.
You have a Faceit site. Like, just fucking put the information. Like, I'm sorry, but Tony, does this, from your perspective, I know you're casting the event, and I don't want you to badmouth it, but is this one of the worst?
Anything, Joe.
Okay, go for gold. Is this the worst sign up you've seen since probably that PUBG event Huzzy was touching on? Because that was cancerous. Well, that was fucked.
Excuse the pun, but this was shocking to say the least. I really think this could be handled a lot better. From someone, I guess, that's claiming to be the leader for Oceanic Esports at the moment. One Oceanic Esport at the moment, I also have to say. This is poorly organized.
It looks like it's run by kids.
Yeah, I'm not going to disclose the rates, but when I see the money, I'll believe it, because it's a little bit absurd right now.
Yeah, this looks like it's got some cryptocurrency kid who has a fucking hard-on for CSGO or Valorant or whatever they want to bloody play, and they have no idea how to run or manage a TO. That's how I see it. If I was a player, I would stay away from these guys. That's what I would personally do as a player, because I wouldn't want to get in until I can go, yeah, no, this is 100% verified as an actual, as something to go play for or whatever. Yeah,
well, apparently the Faceit thing's been like the Faceit thing's been deemed legit. Like, the prizes and stuff have been handed out, I believe, to the respective winners of the leagues and stuff like that. But yeah, as a TO at the moment, it's not looking great.
Yeah, I think the other thing, it's basically like a boosted version of what is it, Premier League or something? I forgot what it's called, what Conky runs, but anyway,
Instafrag.
Yeah, Instafrag, that's the one. But yeah, again, if any TOs need help, like both A and Shock, whoever, we, like, all three of us here, we have contacts. If you need casting assistance or production assistance, you're looking at two guys here. I've done that fucking forever. We've done it for like 4 or 5 years.
Shit,
I've done CSGO administration before. I've held my own tournament previously, and that went fine. Like, if you need admin help, I'm happy to help. I've had server experience. I've done all that shit. Like, I don't care if I don't get paid. I just want to see a good product be introduced. but like people need to use their contacts, because you can't just say this is what we're going to do and then really under deliver. Like all these graphics and stuff are really cool and all, but
I'm worried for the stream stuff, Joe, because
I'm also very concerned about what the stream's going to look like, Tony, because if that shit looks like it's from the 1950s, like what those tweets look like.
There's a tweet of them of people streaming the games, and not as casters though, from what I understand. And they've just gone, "Hey, you bored? Go watch these people stream our tournament."
Oh, that's just their Face-It League.
That's just their Face-It Pug system, which is completely normal for them to do.
That's completely separate. The tournament doesn't start till this Friday, which is all best of ones. I've had to the organizers have asked us as casters what they need in the whole obs thing.
As a TLDR for it, they just need direct systems in place, a direct policy and procedure. If they're watching this
direction,
if they're watching this, right, and you have an idea, like if you work at a place like wherever, say you work at Macca's, they have a policy and procedure for literally everything. And yes, I picked Macca's because of you, Tony. Okay, shut the fuck up.
we do have policies and procedures.
But that's they literally have policies and procedures for everything. How to fucking put the nuggets in, how to fucking turn up the fucking knob, how to say hello to someone. They literally have a policy and procedure for everything. And that's
Some people don't know how to do that either.
Some people don't know how to do that either. But I think the other thing as well, I want to compare this to OEL. Because originally when they did the OEDL stuff, OEL stuff, that was, God help me, that was disgusting, as you both know, because they didn't have any experience on how to run CS stuff. But you know what? They asked the questions. And when you ask
they wanted to learn. Yeah.
They learnt. Yep. Even from the 4 guys who were casting, it didn't really want to do the admin job, but we had to. But like it still helps. Like again, if you have people there to assist you, and even after the event, they're like, okay, guys, this is what we need. Do you know any admins? Do you know any people who can run production? Do you know this? Do you know that? And I'm like, yeah, here's all these contacts. Go for gold.
And that's what Justin did for, like, he was like, hey, I want to run CSGO. Who do you know? And I was like, yeah, here's Joe, here's Matt, here's Tony. Oh yeah, go check out this guy called Elfish.
It's like, bang, there you go. There's your 4 people. There's the guys who know what they're doing. You don't have your admin team, but you know what? They had a basic understanding of how to work the servers, but if they couldn't figure it out, there were situations where they can drop grenades or guns or anything, which, God help me, that was horrible.
Or the situation, the server would drop for a few hours.
And then you come back a few hours later.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, that was purely
at least you got paid for it. Despite how shit it was, at least they did pay us for it. Which,
dude, I got paid to play Valorant for an hour. It was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. But OE, I think for Shock, they need to live up to expectations, and I think like the payment should come. Like again, if they've already been paying out people, I don't see why they shouldn't. But I think bottom line for this little segment here, if you're a TO in the region and you don't have any contacts, ask people around, no matter what scene you're in. Because again, even if you just want to, hit up one of us, like we've all got pretty good networks, I'd say. Like I know
slide in our DMs, be like, hey, do you know anything? Like, go to our Twitters.
It's not like I'm going to charge you like 10. It's not like I'm going to charge you like $50 just to go, hey, here's Andrew.
I mean, if you come to me for actually specific, towards my business, then I would charge you. But yeah, if you're just asking for general, like, hey, who do I go talk to about this?
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, even for. Like,
it takes me 1 minute, not even 1 minute to apply.
Even like Val shit, you can go to Rosa, you can go to a few of the other guys, Casser as well. I believe is always friendly to talk to. For Valorant specifically, you can always hit up Disco, because he does all the production side of things, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to like have a 5-minute chat, and talk about how to do stuff properly.
And again, it's not like half of these admins are like contracted to just one person, right? Like they're literally
half of them aren't even contracted.
They're freelance.
They're freelance admins. Like just do that. Like if you want to pay them for the event, which I would recommend, because that's the only way you're going to get good admins for it.
I was going to say they do a lot.
They do a lot. Please don't undermine them. We've seen payments previously in some events where they just don't get paid enough. So please don't undercut admins. They do a lot for us.
Get observers.
I'd rather give my pay to the admins, honestly. Like they do a lot more than what I do. I just scream into a mic. I don't care. But I think
staff should be your foremost expenditure, and when you're trying to finance, you want to finance staff first, then think of prize pool and money and whatnot for everything else. Because if you can't pay your staff, you're going to have a shit TO or you're going to have a shit a tournament, and the next one no one's going to turn up.
Yep. Do it right the first time, or do it on the fence and then say, okay, this is what we could have done. But do what OEL did: learn from your mistakes, get the contacts, move forward. Anyway. Good rant.
Moving forward.
Congrats, boys. We've done well. Anyway, we've got the hotspot, gents. This is all about Valorant Champions, and personally, I would love to start. I'd love to start it off. Zoms versus the entire Latin American region. God fucking help us all.
So, talk about brain dead. Just why?
Bit dumb.
Okay, so just for a summary, ladies and gents, for this. To put it simply, basically there was a team which used an illegal camera on a map, which I'm not going to say because they're still going into that Tony where they're trying to figure out if it was illegal or it was illegal. Or
should we mention nationality? Because that has a big role in this whole hotspot. Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, we should mention nationality because it has a big part.
We all know how, again, I love Brazil. I love the players. I love the fans. The fans are fucking awesome. But when it comes to illegal stuff, basically, what happened was they had 6 rounds in the game where a camera was used on the Breeze bomb site, where you're not allowed to because Riot has already stated that. And basically, what has happened here was essentially 6 rounds actually got taken away from that specific team against Ascend, where basically. It actually caused them to go from a 2-1 victory down to a 1-2 victory because those 6 rounds were taken away, which is pretty harsh. I'm not going to lie. Pretty harsh. And then basically after that, you see that I think it was Shazam basically tweeted out something about calling a tech pause or a timeout because of that round, which nothing happened apparently. Then there was this whole kickoff. Basically, I think Huzzy will probably throw in the tweet on the screen, but essentially Zoms
some screenshots
just decided to just really admit that he needs some form of bodyguard protection for the rest of his life. But essentially, basically, they should have called a tech pause, blah, blah, blah. Your joke agonizes the entire region, and then Zoms hits them with the can't wait to beat your shit region again. Which,
Shazam, should have called a tech pause, then he kind of went on, I'm just making light of an unfortunate situation. You refuse to accept what actually happened and choose to be upset. These games should bring us together, have some fun. Obviously, some people didn't like that comment and whatnot, but he's trying to,
have his own fun.
He's just trying to make a laugh over something that, has happened bad in the scene. No one likes bad shit in the scene because it looks bad on
Shazam's
everyone.
always like that, though. He's a pretty lovable bloke. He cracks a joke now and again, which is fair enough. But then Zom's responding with that, right? Bad enough. Then continued going on his personal account saying Brazil need to do less typing and more playing, and then responded to his own tweet with an earnings check where the top 4 players are basically Zom, Shazam, Sick, and Dapper, all on Sentinels with 107,000 USD.
Sorry, you guys have a developed region.
I think Sentinels I don't want
to be that guy. Ego, on top of that as well. I love this response personally because as soon as basically he tweeted that, one of the Brazilian Val streamers responded calling him a gringo. And on top of that as well, the other response that I saw was basically a scoreline between them and a team they played against, which was Liquid, where Zoms went 1-15 in one of the games. So that's also quite good.
There was a Shazam one as well against G2. I thought it was pretty funny. He went 1-15.
Yeah,
something like that.
I love that. It's top 10 kills from Shazam in this game, and it was just 1 kill, and then
G2 versus Sentinel highlights from Shazam. It was just 115.
At the moment, I honestly think Sentinels are having an absolute nightmare trying to contain this, because this looks horrible on them.
Yeah, they messed up. I'm all for the banter, but I think this one went a little bit too far from Sentinels.
I think he should be fined. I think Zom should be fined.
I mean, Zoms will get. I reckon he'll get fined.
He probably will. Yeah.
Bottom line, he will. But I don't think the rest of the I've had Tens and Dapper and all that have stayed silent. Respects to them. Shazam,
good.
Shazam's done his thing. Shazam was having fun. I don't care about him. He's Shazam can have his fun, obviously, but I think blatantly calling the team garbage and a region garbage
It's gonna be funny when they go to the lower bracket and have to verse Furia, and then get shit stomped.
Dude, that would be.
I'm rooting for Furia just for that to happen.
I think everyone would be. I think legitimately everyone would be rooting for Furia just to slap Sentinels. But for that to happen, I mean, they
have to beat Crew. First, they have to beat Crew,
which is another Latin American team, which is the Argentina boys.
Yeah.
So
but let's not forget that Sentinels are probably the best team.
I wouldn't say their performance in Champions has been the greatest.
Listen, last event they got 7th. We're not calling them the best team anymore. I'm putting Gambit right on that fucking podium. They are. The Russians are just machines. Like again, they're just
they're Russian as well.
Yeah, I think moving on from that though, the other thing as well alongside that, now Europe has been doing well. Gambit, Liquid, and Fnatic all qualifying for the main finals. EMEA looking great. Fnatic not botting out like they did last event, so thanks to them.
They almost did. They got tested against VS.
Well, in all fairness, so Fnatic, Liquid, and Gambit all went 2-1, so it's not like these teams are garbage anymore, right? Like all the teams at this event. Team Secret from the Philippines almost beat Gambit, so
that
was pretty sick.
Secret.
They couldn't even get out last time, so good to see that.
Put an SCA on the map.
Yeah, and I think the other thing as well that I want to mention is the scare with They had like some rapid COVID tests on I think 8 of the players, and they all came back as positive. Then they sent them off to like remote labs, and they came back negative.
But it's still going on as well. It's still like people aren't sure if there is actually a positive case there or not.
Which is why I hate rapid tests, right? Because then you get the response, you send it off, and it comes negative, and you're like, "Well, is this person actually got COVID? Or if they don't have COVID, am I going to have to cancel the event? Am I going to have to postpone it?" Because I think the big thing as well, right?
Are we getting an LCQ again, or
are we getting an online LCQ? This time is go home and play globally on Guam servers.
Oh, hell yeah!
But I think the big thing as well for this, the big thing is if they are actually positive and they decide to postpone the event, these guys aren't going to be home for Christmas this year, which I think is pretty shit, especially if you're on a holiday season.
They won't be stuck in
Germany.
They won't be up next year.
Germany. No offense. Who would want to be stuck in Germany with G2? Come on, like get out. Like no one wants to be there. Like you come for the event, you're not there to say hello.
I wouldn't mind it. Some brat.
G2's even at the event, and they didn't even qualify.
I mean, if I can order bratwurst and beer, I really don't mind.
Dude, I'd happily sing show tunes with Bolster from Fnatic, dude, while in Germany.
Dude, he's already shaved his head. He said he'll get 40k likes on Twitter.
That was Doma. That wasn't Boaster. That was Doma.
Yeah, that was Doma.
I think that's really cool. To see that, and then his reply was like, "Oh shit, I have messed up."
But there are a lot of tweets as well. Let's not forget of all these players that are posting out. We're really not sure what's happening. We can't say anything due to legal reasons. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the MV guys. Poor FNS was like, "This is horrible. I don't want to be here anymore."
Yeah, like
even Hastro was just like, "Hey, yo, I'm calling my boys. What's going on?"
Like a lot of people are like, they want to come home. I think they do not want to be there of how shit it is.
Honestly, after the LCQ and how that went, like this is literally just LCQ 2.0 at this point. Except they can't play it online because these teams are across the world and half of them probably can't get back home going by what happens now.
Yeah.
So that's imagine
a bit rough.
There's a lot of those teams in those countries where if they get COVID in Berlin, I don't think they're coming home for a while.
Well, they won't be home until next year, mid next year.
Yeah,
at least.
I would hate to be that team. Especially, I think Riot's done an absolutely atrocious job. Again, props to PUBG. Love you guys. You beautiful individuals. You can actually get my boys home.
Korean is better. Let's just face it. Korean is better.
Feek on Suspect have to get back to Perth in 2 weeks.
It's gone to Sweden.
And the EU can just Sugma. Honestly, it's over there. It's just shit. Like it really is.
I don't know why people keep doing. I hate to be that guy, but like European countries and like COVID and stuff, it's not really going well. Sweden's done alright, as we've seen already. They do like the 5-day quarantine over there, which works. But yeah, bottom line, right? Fix his shit. I know we said this 3 weeks ago as well, but fix his shit. please.
And then 2 weeks before that as well.
Yeah, when they cancelled the LCQ, made the LCQ online. Now they've got this, and they couldn't fly teams out.
Right, they're just full of clowns, aren't they?
Oh God, you know it's bad when Halo's already done a better job than them so far. But you know what? It's all good. Tony, I think heading into next year, because obviously we got 2 episodes left, right? Is Valorant going to die in O's? I want to hear it.
All right. So I have, and you know what? I'm currently very disappointed that the casters were involved in the chat that Riot had about next year's pathway. From what I've overheard, it's good for the organization. It's good for the teams that want to get, the organizations that want to get involved and get a team. And from what I've heard, it's not great for the players. That's all I know. This is all speculation. This is only what I've yoinked and milked out of Person. Of course, Person didn't want to tell me much, but this is what I've milked out. And if that's what he's telling me, I have very, very little faith. But I will still attempt to cast this game because I fucking love Valorant. It's a breath of fresh air since moving over from Counter-Strike.
Huzzy.
I mean, I'm obviously not a
I personally think Val's dying and Halo's going to kick off.
Halo's going to kick off no matter what. That's going to be a given.
It's going to get even
New
better.
game.
Well, we hope it is, anyways. But I don't think Valorant is going to die. I think it's just going to become fairly similar to how CS:GO, where you have a very niche number of teams that will compete. And that's it. It'll just exist. It'll have its major and whatnot, and you'll have probably 1-2 teams from every region that are really the only ones that are worth actually investing into, from an org perspective. But yeah, it's going to become pretty much like CS:GO, where it's just going to be it's just there. It's not going to. It's just
at least for CS though, they have 3 international pathways, right, for CS teams. Even in this day and age, Renegades, LFO, Order, they're the top 3 followed by Vertex, so at least you have that 3rd team now. But I think the big deal for me personally with Val is if you see an org like Chiefs or Order get out of Valorant now,
it's over.
And they've had that meeting, right? I think
it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
I think either they need to do something. They need to merge with C if they can, or O's is done. I reckon. There's not going to be a pathway for them that's going to work.
I think you're just going to have that one or 2 teams that will actually commit to Valorant, and they'll probably just go play in C just to get better.
I think that's what NerdNext are doing right now, because I saw them. And this is all speculation. They could be scrimming some AU team at 9:00 in the morning on a Thursday or a Friday. I saw a few of their players on in a custom game, so that was interesting to see, whether it was a C team or whether it was some other crazy AU team scrimming at that hour. More than likely, it'd be C, and I hope they do well, because I guess a team like NerdNext obviously being together recently, and Minimize has said that C's not too bad. We've seen a few of the other pro players, I believe, actually stream playing SEA rates and not do too bad. They drop 20s, 30s plus, and it doesn't seem to be an issue. So
that's where I think we're going to see probably 1 or 2 teams.
Yeah,
that will stay in the scene actively and actually be the contenders for a major in some form or shape or form. But everyone else, you're going to have a B tier teams, and then you're going to have D tier. There won't be any in between or anything above. It will just be that.
I think it's going to be interesting because I know I said this last week when we had Blue Panda and Cthulhu along. I just think Oz is such a small region. We're not going to have enough space for so many esports at once. There's going to be
we'll always have space. It's just the amount. It's just a matter of fact of
it's more the quality.
The amount per 100 people, kind of thing.
Teams per capita in some regard, I guess.
Yeah, so we obviously don't have that no matter what. No matter how you look into it, no matter how you view it, we will never have the amount of teams needed to afford, multiple lobbies across, multiple games kind of thing. But
so what you're saying is, to all those esports people out there who sit inside doing nothing, go get a girl, start breeding, and we'll build ourselves a super team. That's
populate the earth.
Well, no.
No?
I think the biggest thing right now is something needs to happen in OS that's going to benefit esports as a whole, as in we need to draw all those casual players into esports. We need to give them a reason to compete. At the moment, there is no campaigns out there that are drawing any new casual players into esports. There's no need for it. A lot of, if you go to schools and whatnot and you talk to like half the kids, I bet half of them don't even know that esports exists, and yet they're hardcore gamers.
I've got a point to touch on. I think what New Zealand are doing at the moment, from what I've seen as well, especially doing the observing for the University League, is getting people's attention and eyes on esports overall. I think we need more of that in AU, because of course New Zealand have got a little bit more of a backing behind that. So we need to see a little bit more.
That comes into what I'm planning to do in the next few years. So, which is I want to generate an actual government backing and an actual system that works on the sports and recreation system in Australia.
So instead of spending 164 grand on pigeons, we can spend it on esports. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course.
Pretty much.
Taxpayer money going to something good.
Well, imagine, think about it this way. So, look at all the venues that are out there at the moment, like across Australia. I'm not sure if you've been to many cities. There are so many of these massive venues that are they're unattended for 70% of the year because they've got no reason to fill it.
You could have
Now,
just
if
said
we're
Olympic
able,
Park in Melbourne, that would have just been like,
yeah, there's one of the bigger ones. Now, imagine if we're able to change that and we're able to draw something like League or Dota into Australia.
Okay, just waiting for them to make that NZ move with Gaben. Just.
OPL too.
Well, that would be a big selling point if we have something in place that actually, we have an actual governing body that backs it. We can go to Valve and be like, "Yo, we have a governing body. We want to actually hire, or we want to look at bringing TI to Australia. This is the tournament organizer that we have that are willing to take on all the work. Let's make it happen."
ESL.
Yep.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like there's no in between.
Hey, LPL are up there somewhere.
You're down there.
No offense to the LPL guys, we love you all, but there are some things that
LPL in the bin.
Could be done better.
You need to give me something, guys. You need to work with
in
me
the
on
bin.
this.
Could be done better. One would be giving me an observer for next season. That'd be great.
Anyways, so that's something I think Australia needs. We need a governing body that will back esports and that will develop esports overall in not only just schools, but as an overall campaign.
I think the big thing for me is, if you go to a school, right? I know Chiefs is doing it, I know Blizzard doing it, but if you go to school and you go, oh yeah, esports is there, and then some kid's like, why don't I just become a tradie? You're like,
yeah, they get more money.
You get paid in Happy Meals with us. You get paid actual money when you're a tradesperson.
I think
do esports.
Yeah, but
I think that's the thing to touch on as well.
But that's something else. So imagine another governing body, right? And we're able to, give grants. We, say we're able to do 10 million a year. Okay, in grants or whatever that. We'll say one.
That's a big money. Yeah, sign me up.
Well, that's what they normally do. They normally have a set budget for grants every year. So they go, hey, how's 1 million a year sound for grants? You go, okay, cool. And then an org comes, like, hey, I want to run an event, but I need $5,000. Okay, you give us your pitch, and we'll determine if you get the money or not.
Shock esports.
Simple as that.
Shock hit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like you can't just go, oh hey, I want to run a $5,000 tournament, and that's it. You go, okay, have you got staff?
You have dates?
No.
You got dates?
Do you know when you run it? Oh no. Do you have any policy procedures? Oh no. Do you have at least a code of conduct?
I know we've gone really off topic, but this is like very valid. That's what it is. Because the other thing as well, you got to think about, right? You want to run a $5,000 tournament, but you got to think about the costs on top, right? So you got your $5,000 for your prize pool, then you've got your casters' rates, you've got your observers, you've got your admins, you've got.
Please pay them all.
Pay them
fairly.
Either pay them all, or expect a really shit product. That's all I'm saying.
But that's like that will come into it, you know. That's the whole point of having the system that will grant the stuff, because it's not that like then we will like as a government body would then be like, okay, you'll need to run by our rules. You'll need to run by there'll be a sign up system where if you break the rules, you could be fined. You know, if you want to be in a legitimate organization, you need to sign up. If you break those rules,
I just want contracts that actually exist.
The players won't take it. The players won't take it to court. We will, and that's what I want to look at doing. That's like I reckon
taking people to court.
You're calling out direwolves again, are you, Huzzy?
Oh fuck! If we're an actual government body like that, I want to be like, hey, direwolves, here's a subpoena. We'll see you in court next week, mate. But like that's the whole purpose. We need systems in place that are able to stop these cheats, these these scammers and whatnot, and we need something in place that's going to make esports grow in Australia and bring that billion-dollar industry more in to the country. Look at America, look at EU, look at fucking Korea, man. Hundreds of millions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Decades. Korea been doing it for decades, though.
And look how much money they put into it.
Yeah.
They put hundreds of millions of USD into
it move
every
to Korea,
year.
honestly.
Korea's fucking awesome. I've been there, dude. Seoul. Oh, man, Seoul's so much fun. Honestly, next time I go, Tony, you and me, we're going.
Well, yeah, bring the Heat podcast coming to Seoul.
But
confirmed.
Like, this thing, all this money that's been pumped in, like, there's so much, so much, and we get a speck of it. We see a tiniest bit of it, and not half the time it doesn't even go into the pockets of us. So yeah, that's where I would like to see in Australia as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way to finish things off as well, I guess, for this episode, boys, because we've had a really detailed discussion, I reckon. Obviously, we had a bit of a tangent at the end, but I think it's valid in every regard. But yeah, again, we've got 2 more episodes, fellas. Like, don't forget it, right? We've got 2 more episodes until this season's done. Basically, by the time the last actually goes up, it's going to be Christmas. So that's actually fun.
Oh,
that's great.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
And now we're gonna get DMCA'd.
It's going to be a copyright.
Yeah, it's actually going to come out on Boxing Day. So we'll have something planned for that, I reckon. But yeah, I think at least for this week, guys, it's been good. I know Huzzy's meant to go away. I'm sorry. I know the borders.
No, it wasn't even the border. It was the fucking South Australian Prime Minister, or whatever he is, dickhead, wanker. Fucking open.
The guy that makes us wear masks, even though we shouldn't be.
Slap him.
Yeah, it's not fun down here right now. It's more of a dictatorship on the the southern and western side of the country.
I'll give him a dictatorship.
Anyway, guys, this has been Bring the Heat, episode number 8. Again, make sure to follow the socials down below. Follow our personal Twitters and the YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Again, we are going to sort out a TikTok in the next week or so. We've been saying it for weeks. We really just need to get this shit organized at this point. Because again, we've had some pretty banger clips come out, not even going to lie. Now my camera's gone blurry, so I'm not having a good time. Anyway, this has been Bring the Heat, episode number 8, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.